I was very excited when I heard that they were making a movie about Harvey Milk. My friend Cleve Jones, who is a major character in the movie, called me and said a month ago that he had seen the preview and said I wasn't going to be ready for it. So I went to the preview screening in San Diego last night, and it was like an emotional roller coaster ride of feelings, of everything from laughter and to a lot of pride, to a lot of memories of police raids and of our bars, and seeing the people going in paddy wagons. It just brought all the 60s and 70s back. Also, Sean Penn, it is absolutely eerie how he has gotten Harvey. It's like Harvey Milk has come alive. I mean, his humor, his quiet moments, his passion, it's all there. And Sean Penn must have done his homework and have seen and done probably countless interviews that sometimes these actors do, because he has them right down. And for me, it was kind of hard. I called Cleve Jones last night, and I said, left him a message. I said, Cleve, I mean, at times I was in tears for you, I was just a friend of Harvey Milk's. He was a close friend, a confidant. And so I called Cleve Jones last night, who's a major character and thing. He and I have been friends for 30 years. For me, just being a friend, it was very hard. Even last night, I had a hard time sleeping, and I left him a message, and I said, Cleve, for me, just being a friend, but he was a close friend. He was like family, and worked for him, and ran for the seat later in years. I just left him. I said, it must have been just emotional for you. And I think that any one of his friends, it's going to be a roller coaster ride of emotions. And I think for the gay and lesbian community and for straights, this Harvey Milk is our GLBT communities, Martin Luther King, Cesar Chavez. This is our martyr, our hero. And because Harvey Milk was a visionary. When you see the movie, you got to remember this was the 1970s. We were called homosexuals. There was no gay, there was no lesbian, bisexual, transgender. We were homos, or else faggots, queers, by straights. There was police brutality. At the opening of the movie, you see all of it, and those are real TV media clips. We had a visionary leader who in the 1970s saw and envisioned where we would be going to. And every gay person, every gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender person should see this, to see that here was a man in the 1970s who was such a visionary. He saw beyond that. He saw a world where we all would have equality, and he saw a world where all Americans would be treated equal. In the 1980s, in those dark early years of AIDS, we were waiting for something to happen. First, it was Rock Hudson, who changed the face of AIDS, and now everyone knew someone who had AIDS. Then the movie Philadelphia came out. That movie, which won more Oscars, absolutely gave a face, and it gave a whole educational understanding of what AIDS was and what it was doing to America. This movie is going to do a lot to educate Americans about how we true are in a civil rights struggle, how we have been beaten, how we have been murdered, how we had police raids on our establishment and bars. You've got to remember that in the 1970s, it was you could be arrested for having homosexual sex. I think that Harvey Milk's, his biggest message Harvey would give to everyone was come out of your closet. He left, and this was the most emotional because I remember those when it happened. He left a recording, and it's so eerie. He said, if I get assassinated, this is what he named 5 people that he wanted the mayor to appoint, and a thing. He's always thinking. And he talked about hope. But for Harvey, he wanted so much the younger gays to have hope that they could grow up and someday be in America that would treat them equally, that they didn't have to go through what he had to. I believe Harvey Milk is looking down and saying, job well done, to so many people who have followed him. And I think one thing he's probably happy about is that many of us in our community has kept a sense of humor, because he had a great sense of humor.